All right.
You're listening to The Voice, 17104.com.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to the Richard James Show on 17104, The Voice.
Hey, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Dr. Rogers would say, uh, today I'm going to be just totally selfish. So my viewers kind of bear with me. It's a family affair. I'm going to tell you the truth. You may say I have somewhat of an ego. I think I have a beautiful, talented family. In fact, I don't think it. I know it. I've been truly, truly blessed with my kids and also with extended family. And I'm going to dip into a little bit of all of that. Extended family is important also. Last couple of series I've done on Jackie Robinson. Today, I want to put a little bit more emphasis on a man named Matthew Mac Robinson. Those two brothers were a phenomenon. As a matter of fact, the whole family, in fact, they had another brother, Edgar, that I really didn't know a whole lot about. Jackie has a son over in Africa that owns his own plantation. This ain't Mathew's plantation. This is his son David's plantation. And my youngest daughter, who has worked hard in the field of education, went up to Vermont and got a second master's degree in the fine arts, particularly in communication, and she's becoming more and more renowned in the field of poetry. And then I'm going to have her make a presentation because it seemed to me this poem that she wrote and she really expressed my feeling overall. It's just kind of the way I approach life itself. And not only that, which is really germane to much of my family. I have done a show with a man by the name of James Jack Hatley, who has an African American museum in Thomasville, Georgia. So we are all trying to do something positive, and we don't consider ourselves any better than anybody else, but we do consider ourselves worthy to be noted. We're just blessed to be individuals that came out of poverty to get something done in this life itself. So I'm going to start out. I want you to just listen to that. I love this poem. Listen to this poem that's done by Maria James Chow. Poetry. Thank you.
My blackness kinks in the rain. Wraps round my naps are a matter of pride. My black is big, bright as harvest moon, warm as Africa, resonating like white in ignorant ears, their self-hate determining language. My black eats its chicken baked, can't stand Kool-Aid or rap made after 92. My black rocks Chicago, Journey, REM, yeah, I said it. My black is losing its religion. My black swims in civil rights afterbirth, tap dances on the grave of Jim Crow. My black need not bow to black on black haters in the hood. They'd rise if they could, but they can't till they pull me down, down, down. They want to be down with my black because my black makes success seem effortless. They can't see the struggle in getting the degree and fighting them with those field slave mentalities. They assume being a house slave was easy. My black knows the only difference between a nigger and a nigga is an accent, a fallacious argument, and a white record exec's bottom line. My black's love is too fierce to kill itself with that word, covered by ancestral scars that grant cred deeper than the streets could ever give. My blackness won't be shackled by small minds or shadowed by their gaze. My black is uniquely, essentially, and unapologetically me.
All
Greetings.
right. That was by Maria, Maria James Chow. Her blackness. That's very, very interesting, very noted poem. One thing that we excelled at in this country when we've been allowed to do so is athletics. And we've had a couple of gentlemen that have done extremely well in the Robinson family. And we're talking about, the world knows Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson made an imprint on society and was able to squeeze by the bigotry and the racism, presentation of who he is by a bigoted press. We have to constantly wrestle with the press to tell it like it is. And Jackie had to work with that issue. He had to work with that problem. A bigoted press made it very difficult for us to pass it. And there was another man, and Jackie claims that he's more talented than he. I mean, he looks up to him, he loves him. His name is Matthew Mac Robinson. I got a couple of videos that I want to show you that will accent some of these other brothers in the Robinson family and why. I said I was going to do something about family, and I part of my extended family. So let's take a look at first a video about Matt Robinson. Let's take a look at it. Hopefully you'll learn something.
There's a good chance if you've heard of James Cleveland Jesse Owens, the astounding athlete who won 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympic Games and was described in his obituary in the New York Times as perhaps the greatest and most famous athlete in track and field history. You may also well have heard of Jack Roosevelt Jackie Robinson, who in 1947 became the first African-American baseball player to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era, thus breaking the so-called color barrier. But you are far less likely to have heard of Matthew Mackenzie Mac Robinson, who finished second to Jesse Owens in the 200 meters in the 1936 Olympics and was the older brother of Jackie Robinson. Mac Robinson largely missed the accolades, but his story deserves to be remembered. Mac and Jackie were both born in Georgia, the sons of sharecroppers. Mac, born in 1914, was the third of 5 children. Jackie, born 4 years later, was the youngest. Their father left them after Jackie was born, and in 1920 their mother moved them to Pasadena, California, where she worked odd jobs to keep the family afloat. But Mac and Jackie Robinson, because of their athletic ability, had the opportunity to attend college. Mac attended what was then called Pasadena Junior College, now Pasadena City College, where he was a track standout. He wanted to try out for the U.S. Olympic team, but the college had no money to send him, so some local businessmen had to raise the money to buy him a train ticket to New York, where the trials were held at Randall's Island Stadium on July 11th and 12th. He couldn't afford new shoes, and so ran in the worn-out shoes he used in junior college, but still qualified for the Olympics in the 200 meters, 0.2 seconds behind Ohio State University's star sprinter, Jesse Owens. Robinson was one of 10 black men to qualify for the 1936 Olympics for the United States, matching all other previous Olympics combined. In the final at the 1936 Olympics, still wearing his worn-out shoes, Mac beat the previous Olympic record with a time of 21.1 seconds, but still got the silver, 0.4 seconds behind Jesse Owens' record finish. Robinson expressed no disappointment. He said, "It's not too bad to be second best in the world at what you're doing, no matter what it is. It means that only one other person in the world was better than you. That makes you better than an awful lot of people." Still, Robinson understood that he had achieved what he had without the benefit of proper shoes, or a coach, whereas Owens had been coached by legendary Ohio State coach Larry Snyder. Mac's daughter, Kathy Robinson Young, recalled, "Daddy always thought that if he had better shoes or some decent coaching, he could have beaten Jesse, or at least made it even closer than it was." But a silver medal didn't guarantee fame. He said upon returning home, If anybody in Pasadena was proud of me, other than my family and close friends, they never showed it. I was totally ignored. The only time I was noticed was when someone asked me during assembly at school if I'd race against a horse. But he continued to excel. He returned to Pasadena Junior College for the 1936-37 school year and set then national junior college records in the 100 and 220-yard sprints and the broad jump, where his record of 25 feet, 5.5 inches, was beaten the following year by his younger brother, Jackie. And the Olympics had earned him an opportunity. At the Games, he met and befriended Bill Hayward, the track and field coach for the University of Oregon. Mack attended the university for the 1938-39 school year, winning an NCAA championship for the team in the 220-yard dash. After graduating from Oregon with a degree in physical education, Robinson had difficulty finding work and ended up taking a municipal job with the city of Pasadena, pushing a broom. He recalled that when it was cold, sometimes he would wear his Olympic jacket. In this, his plight was not unique. Jesse Owens, who had run 0.4 seconds faster, also took a number of menial jobs in his life, including gas station attendant, playground janitor, and manager of a dry cleaning firm. He once remarked, "I had 4 gold medals, but you can't eat 4 gold medals." Even Mack's menial job with a broom turned out not to be safe. In 1941, the city was forced by the California District Court to desegregate its public swimming pools. In retaliation, the city fired all its black municipal employees, including Mack Robinson. The treatment of his older brother was said to be part of what motivated Jackie Robinson, who not only broke the Major League color barrier, but was a Major League Baseball Rookie of the Year, National League MVP, won a World Championship with the Dodgers in 1955, and in 1962 was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Mack Robinson's silver medal run in 1936 was recognized again in 1984, when he was selected as part of a group that carried a giant Olympic flag into the opening ceremony of the 1984 Olympics at the Los Angeles Coliseum. His daughter, Kathy Robinson Young, said it was his greatest moment. His native city finally recognized him when, in 1997, they dedicated the Pasadena Robinson Memorial, installed across from City Hall. The memorial includes a 9-foot-tall bust of he and Jackie. The Pasadena City College Stadium is named Robinson Stadium after he and his brother, and a Pasadena post office is named in his honor. While he was not as well known as his brother or the man who ran 4 seconds faster, he left behind an extraordinary legacy of good works. Mack Robinson, who among other jobs was an usher at Dodger Stadium, found his calling working as a truant officer for John Muir High School in Pasadena and an advocate against street crime. He was acutely aware of how his athletic success could be used as a teaching tool to change the world. As the plaque under his memorial reads, "Athletes should recognize that once they establish themselves, people will attempt to pattern their lives after their sports heroes." Mack Robinson passed away in March of 2000 at the age of 85, leaving behind at the time of his death 6 children, 25 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. If you enjoyed this History Guy short, then feel free to click that like button.
I certainly did enjoy it. These are facts and information that we really don't know about Mack Robinson. It's sad how we can overlook some things that are very, very important, and people very, very important. When you look at the obstacles that African Americans have to face, it's just horrendous. It's just ridiculous. And this man, with his accomplishments, but also just with his tremendous skills, never recognized by other folks. He and his brother were very, 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 very close. One thing I can say Jackie did is constantly reinforce just how wonderful and how capable Mack Robinson really is. And the whole family understood that Mack Robinson is capable. In the Jack Hadley Memorial Museum in Thomasville, Georgia, and Jack Hadley is Jack James Hadley, by the way, is a relative. They have a beautiful display on of course they have one on Jackie and Mack, but they got some on Mack or Matthew, you might be called, some of his things that were part of his career. So if you ever in Thomasville, Georgia, the James Hadleys have converted what was once the black high school into a tremendous museum, and they accent not just our family, but accent Blacks who have made tremendous accomplishments in spite of the grief, in spite of the bigotry, in spite of the neglect, and in spite of the lies that come out of society. I want to do a little bit more. Let's just watch. I got another small video I want you to watch in terms of Mac Robinson and the brothers, Mac and Jackie. Let's just take a look at that.
What was so amazing about the 1932 Olympics was that Black athletes, shut out of all other sports, baseball, basketball, tennis, cycling, everything, they were allowed to compete. Black sprinters Eddie Tolan and Ralph Metcalfe finished 1-2 in the 100 and 200 meters and graced the top step of the podium. Mac Robinson, peering from behind the same fence as Bradley, saw his future in track, not baseball. He was an excellent baseball player, run, hit for power. Today, he'd be called a five-tool player. The Chicago White Sox held spring training at Brookside Park in the 1930s, and Mac and the Pepper Street Gang would challenge the major leaguers. So impressed was the White Sox manager that he stated in front of many onlookers, including Mac's sister Willa May, quote, "Too bad you're the wrong color. You could start anywhere in the majors." Mac would concentrate on track, setting national junior college records in the 100 and 200 meter sprints and the long jump. He'd achieve his goal also of becoming an Olympian, winning the 200 meter silver medal in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, finishing one stride behind Jesse Owens. And like Tolan and Metcalfe before, Mac would accompany Jesse Owens to the top of the platform. Mac's success in the Olympics made a profound and deep presence in the Northwest community. Running track became part of the culture that continues to this day. Mac's immediate impression was on his younger brother Jackie, who'd go on to break all of his junior college records while preparing for the 1940 Olympics, an Olympic Games that would never come about because of World War II. In the 1950 movie, The Jackie Robinson Story, in which Jackie plays himself, he's asked a somewhat hostile question by a reporter. "Jackie, I understand that you weren't the best ball player in the Negro Leagues when they picked you to break the color line." Jackie paused, then he replied to the question, "Not only wasn't I the best ball player in the Negro Leagues, I wasn't the best ball player in my own family. That would have been my brother, Mac."
On our block, we had Mac Robinson,
And that would be...
and he is the brother of Jackie Robinson, and they had another brother named Edgar.
That's Jackie and Mac's brother?
Yes, it is. And I heard he was jumping over cars, skating and jumping over cars in Pasadena, going down Lincoln Avenue.
You talk about urban legends in Pasadena. Jackie and Mac's older brother Edgar. My mother used to tell me stories about Edgar getting up bright and early in the morning and roller skating down Kirkwood and heading his way to the beach by hanging on to a bus or the back of a car.
Before there were skateboards and X Games, there was Edgar Robinson. He was well known for his daredevil tricks, jumping over cars and walls and terrifying onlookers. They say city officials even obtained a restraining order preventing him from roller skating on Colorado Boulevard because he frightened the shoppers. Anyway, Edgar and Mac decided to skate to the beach, about 28 miles. Bellflower was one of the small towns on the way and had a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in this business district. A cop pulled them over and gave him a ticket for speeding. The next day, it was on the front page of the Pasadena Star-News. Mac used to say, if there was a street skating event in the 32 Olympics, Edgar would have won the gold medal. Back in the day, no rubber or polyurethane. They were steel wheels on street skates, and you could be heard coming for blocks away. You use a skate key to tighten the skates on your shoes, and you was good to go. No one skated back from the beach. That was a bit uphill. You put the skates over your shoulders, paid a nickel, and hopped on the trolley. In the 1950s, roller derby was big, huge, especially on television. The derby even drew 50,000 fans at Comiskey Park in Chicago. At the time, the only black women seen on TV were actresses as maids or cooks. And then there was Darlene Anderson skating, flying around the track. As for black women in sports, there was Althea Gibson, #1 in tennis. But Althea wasn't on television, and Darlene was, and she had a very reverent following. At 17, she was the Jackie Robinson Deja Vu, integrating the roller derby.
As far as the roller derby was concerned, she was the first black woman. She lived on the corner from us.
Hi, I'm Darlene Anderson, and I want to tell you a little something about my athletics. I used to run track, play ball, and then some friends said, let's go and join the training school for roller derby. I was told that they were interested in having me go on a professional team. Brooklyn Red Devils.
This was at age 16?
And this was 16. I knew Mom would say no. I knew Dad would say yes. And that's how I ended up in roller derby.
Darlene Anderson was a very important person to us as young people. She was the very first black woman to be on the derby circuit, on the derby circuit.
Mac's legacy. Track and field is a rite of passage in the Northwest Village.
And you live next door to another
I live
brother
next door
athletic family, and that would be the Clippers.
Yes.
But when it came to track, he said, just let me get out there. I can do this. And he did. He wore a funny hat on his head. 20.6 was the national record that was set in El Monte, California in the CIF finals. In the state, it was 20.7, which broke Jesse Owens' record.
For high school.
For the state high school. So,
and it was all these folks
one
with a few houses of each other.
Yes.
You had this. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what happened to me?
Fred Shaw led Muir to a state championship in 1974. Jerry Proctor led Muir to a state championship in 1967. Charles Mayfield set a national high school triple jump record in 1980 that still remains today. Obie Moore leads Muir to 3 state championships in track and field, 1994, 95, and 96.
Girls track and field was not competed in California until 1974. Alice Brown, Muir class of 1979, won gold medals in the 1984 and 1988 Olympics, both in the 4x1 relays. Inger Miller, Muir class of 1990, was California State Team Champion in 1989 and won Olympic gold in 1996 in the 4x1 relay and silver medal in the 100 meters.
Jane Sanford, whose track DNA is from the village, won 2 golds and a silver to lead Pasadena High School to a state championship in 1977. At assemblies at Washington Junior High in Mirror, we crowded into the auditorium to hear Bobby Hutcherson vibes, Herbie Lewis on bass, and Nathaniel Brown on piano. They were playing something called bebop jazz. We didn't understand what it was, but we knew we liked it.
I remember at Washington Junior High going to assemblies and seeing Bobby and...
Bobby Hutcherson, he's on this album, The Procrastinator, by Lee Morgan. And man, cause he played them vibes, and I remember him back in Pasadena. He used to play with a good friend of mine's brother, John Lewis. Herbie Lewis was the bass player. Bobby Hutcherson, the vibe man. Pasadena guy, real melodic playing guy, you know?
Bobby lived right on the Arroyo Rim, and his group often rehearsed in his garage. Neighbors and friends gathered on the sidewalks listening to the sounds of hard bop jazz as it waffled down the hills serenading the Arroyo. When Bobby returned home from a world tour promoting his popular album San Francisco, the village turned out to overflowing to welcome home the Vibe Man.
Octavia briefly in high school, kind of from a distance, but knew of her as being very quiet and kind of to herself. I ran into her a few times at the La Pintoresca library, and I bought a book, her book, and read it and was very impressed. So I'm honored to be honoring her as a member of Mustang's class of 1965.
Octavia Butler, an incredible author who was raised in Pasadena. I think she went to John Muir High School. I like to talk about Moses Parable of the Sower. It's a book that many years back when I taught literature, I taught this book to my students. And one of the reasons why is because she must have done some incredible research. Octavia Butler had an incredible imagination and the kind of science fiction that we're mostly used to. I think she just took parts of it and put it in her stories just to propel it into areas that I guess you could not get to in most writing.
Octavia Butler's body of work is archived at the Huntington Library and Art Museum. World War II, a catalyst for change in racial attitudes.
The catastrophe that was World War II, genocide of a people based on racist theories that were universally reviled. Members of Dr. Milliken's Human Betterment Foundation stumbled over each other as they fled from the organization. Eugenics and Nazism are fruit from the same tree. And as they fled, you heard another phrase enter the lexicon of our speech. I'm not a racist.
In the 1930s, Dr. Albert Einstein had worked with Dr. Milliken at Caltech. In 1946, while lecturing at Lincoln University, the nation's first historically black university and college, Einstein addressed the subject of race. Quote, "The separation of races is not a disease of colored people. It is a disease of white people, and I do not intend to be quiet about it."
In 1947, Jackie Robinson integrates Major League Baseball. The city of Pasadena is in court to keep Brookside swimming pools segregated. The city is ordered to integrate the pools, which is a victory for the community and for Miss Ruby McKnight Williams. America fought Nazism in World War II with a segregated armed services. But post-World War II, America wore the mantle of leader of the free world, fighting red tyranny. But racism is a worse tyranny. Segregation made America's foreign policy look very hypocritical. In 1948, President Harry S. Truman issued Executive Order 9981 desegregating the United States Armed Services. Hiking through the Arroyo Seco today. An ugly fence is being installed across the Colorado Bridge as suicide prevention. The channel still protects the Rose Bowl from flooding, and you can still get a bike down there. The old Brookside Plunge is now the Rose Bowl Aquatic Center, used mostly for swimming lessons, swim team practice, and diving. The 10-meter board still remains. The massive numbers of backyard swimming pools with grills and cocktails has made parties at a public pool less attractive. JPL has added the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, to its title. Remember the Rocket Boys? JPL is now a little city in the Arroyo Seco and no longer is testing rocket engines like days of old. Now it transmits images from deep space captured by the Hubble telescope. The TMT, or the 30-meter telescope, will be coming online soon. JPL is also flying helicopters on Mars. The Rose Bowl has compiled a most impressive resume. Annual New Year's Day game, college championship, UCLA home field, 5 Super Bowls, Olympic gold medal game in soccer in 1984, World Cup 1994, Women's World Cup 1999, and huge crowds for music tours and events. The Tournament of Roses has added more color and swag. Two of the 4 black queens of the Tournament of Roses, Drew Washington, 2012, and Madison Triplett, 2015. Once snubbed and ignored, the legacies of Mac and Jackie are now remembered and honored in the city of Pasadena. Today it could be said Jackie Robinson is Pasadena's favorite son. The bronze of Jackie fronts the Rose Bowl, now UCLA's home field, where Jackie was an All-American. Robinson Park is named for both Jackie and Mac. The park where the White Sox used to hold their spring training is now Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. The field at Pasadena City College, where Jackie and Mac both set national junior college track and field records, is now known as Robinson Stadium. The United States Post Office Distribution Center in Pasadena is named for Mac Robinson. The 9-foot busts of both Jackie and Mac are installed
across from the Pasadena City Hall on Centennial Plaza.
Pasadena was a great place to I think, be born, raised, and so I cherish the experience that I was lucky enough to have.
Right. Just to give you an overview of exactly what's happening, particularly in the city of Pasadena, which has raised up and remembered the Robinson family, but also a number of other individuals of African-American persuasion who have done very, very good in life and made some accomplishment. It's said that our conference has to be based on negative. In other words, our conference is based on the fact that we have a history while doing very, very credible and wonderful things of having to fight slavery and having to fight discrimination and having to fight racism, and to have a party that once was the party of Lincoln, now going against the concepts that Lincoln had created in terms of equality for all men and for all people. It's sad as a group of people part of the body politics that don't believe in making sure that the average American, maybe not so average American, people who have needs are taken care of. The thing that I love about Robinson, particularly Jackie Robinson, is that even though his life was very, very short, he didn't live long after his retirement from baseball. Tender age of 53, he passed, but he had dedicated his life to trying to bring about change and doing some good things for individuals. I'm going to share some things, share a few things with you today, and in terms of my poetry, my dedication to my family, my daughters. You're growing into womanhood. Your beauty bursts forth like flowers on a summer day. You're full of life and energy. You love music and moving time with the sounds of song from the soul. My dear, there are many dangers in this world for a young woman. I wish to protect, to provide, to contain you in a blanket of security, but it is not entirely possible. Go into the world, my dearest daughter. Know that your father's love goes with you and you are secure within yourself. I have 3 daughters. All have been able to work hard and accomplish things within their lives. I am proud, and I say this to my Black brothers and sisters, I am proud to be an American. I am saddened that a dominant portion of our society still is segregated, still tries to put up barriers. But the thing that I'm proud in is that the fact that we've struggled through these things has only tended to make us stronger in many ways. And we have to stretch forth our hands and help those help themselves. this whole thing with the 1936 Olympics, I was born in 41, so long before I was born. We had a man named Adolf Hitler who probably was ethnically mixed himself. If you look at him, he wasn't no Anglo-Saxon. He wasn't. He was a man who was racist, who felt inferior, little man, and believed that he would push the concept of race superiority. And so he wanted to had to prove to himself too. He wasn't sure. He wanted to prove it to himself that the Aryan race, and they refer to them as Aryans, white race, in other words, is superior to others. And not really do the white race and any race any good. Because what he does with his racist and far right stance, he takes away what some of the white, young, talented individuals have accomplished. As a matter of fact, the things that were done that were really great, there's so much division and so much, shall we say, psychological fog that people can't see the benefit. Now, there's an argument between political systems of socialism and capitalism. I believe strongly in a combination of the two. I believe that the so-called, not capital system, I hate that term, free enterprise. I am heavily involved and always have been in free enterprise. Great opportunities for everyone, not to try to block anyone, create opportunities for individuals to be able to develop and work for themselves, to take care of themselves, establish business and services that they can give to the public and do a great job of giving it to the public. And we need that kind of thing. We need a press that is free, but we need a press that doesn't lie. Now, is lying acceptable? I don't think so. Not acceptable. Going out and using the print or any other tool try to destroy individuals is not acceptable. And we had a situation in our last election, and we talk about it somewhat, whereas we had more people to vote and come out and participate than we ever had in any other election in history. And we talked about this. Biden won through our current system, which is the electoral college. And electors are, we say, voted in on a state by state basis. And then they come together and they vote on the presidency. Well, in popular vote, Biden got over 7 million votes more than Trump. And in electoral college, Biden also won handily. And an immature, racist man who's so caught up in himself cannot accept that. Run again if you want to. I can cut you run again. I think that anyone who wants to run for a political office in a system that is based on free enterprise should be able to run and be able to set forth their policies and set forth their ideas to a public that is listening. Do that. That's what freedom is all about. That's what patriotism is all about. But we also are a society made of laws, and those laws are created to make sure there is some order in our existence, to make sure that that we are able to accomplish things within context. not destroy our society. And we don't want anybody to come in and to destroy the capital of the United States. This is terrible. This is not a good thing. This undermines our democracy. So we want them to come in and do the job that is necessary to be done. Let me say something. Now I'm going to get religious on you. I'm going to tell you a new commandment I give unto thee. Love thy neighbor as thyself. There abideth three: faith, hope, and charity. But the greatest of these is charity. Charity suffers long and is kind. We have got to get past artificial, superficial things and focus on the things that really, really, really matter, like character, like sharing, like loving each other, and lending a helping hand to people that need it. And this is the kind of thing that I've been taught. And I say nothing wrong. There's nothing, shall we say, repugnant about loving each other and loving people and stretching forth your hand to the poor, to the mentally ill, to the sick. It's not a matter, there's no human being made of flesh and bone that is better than another human being made of flesh and bone. We all have our infirmities. We all are born a woman and we pass. It's as simple as that. So let's do everything that we can to have some purpose or meaning in our lives. And that's where I'm at. Am I a fanatic with some orthodox pronouncement in terms of religion? No. But I am really, really dedicated to the whole concept of loving my brothers and loving my sisters and uplifting those people that have been placed and put down. And I say to Robinson, hey, your life had purpose, your life had meaning. Even though Mac Robinson, career-wise, the spotlight wasn't shown on him like it was shown on Jack. God decided to keep him on this planet a lot longer. Jackie lived to be 53, Matt lived to be 85. So we really look forward to life and the life that God has given us, the years that God given us, and we look forward to being able to use that life with some degree of purpose and some degree of direction. Now, we want you to, let me just say this to you. Come down and see us if you can. We have a beautiful display of African art in a wonderful market, Lebanon Valley Farmers Market. And come on down, will you? We show these things every week. They're artifacts here. Take a look. They're mads, they're tall giraffes, they're oils, and they're all for sale. We have drums. We have beautiful drums from Africa. So come down and buy something from us. We appreciate it. We appreciate support. It's my beautiful daughter, Maria, that helped to continue to make it. And her just returned from Africa. Welcome home, Maury. Yeah, appreciate you. So let me just say this to you, and I'm going to be signing off. I appreciate, we had a few technical difficulties today that we were a little late starting, but I'm going to end it at a regular time. And again, I want to say to you, thanks again for tuning in. And we will continue to have these broadcasts, hopefully meaningful, systematic subjects that help us to continue with the message of truth, justice, and equality. And thanks, Chris, for your patience. Well, all right, I'm going to say so long and God bless. This is Richard James. Take care now.
Thank you again for tuning in to the Richard James Show. Our African and our African American programs are set up to educate you on what's going on in this world. We thank you for taking out the time to listen. Let us hear from you sometime also. So this is your neighbor and your friend signing off. Until I see you again next week and hear from you again next week. So long. God bless.